Oh. Sounds fruity. Okay, so here is the Java FJ42. We'll be doing a quick first impressions. Actually, I wanted to test ride this bike, but not now. But anyway, and from the get-go, what I can tell is that this whole Alpha 2 series engine thingy, man, is it refined. Yeah, it really is quite refined, It just doesn't feel like riding a Java slash Yezdi slash BSA motorcycle. BSA is still different, in a bit of a different league altogether. But yes, from what I can tell is it kind of feels like a completely different motorcycle. Because I have ridden the Java Classic and the Java 42, the old version. And this is sort of like this is very much the successor, my bad, the successor of the Java 42. And yes, okay, so once I really rev it hard, then there are a few vibes, but honestly, you can put the whole vibrations thing a bit aside and focus on the entire motorcycle, which I think is making a really strong case right now. The acceleration is quite nice and peppy, it feels very alive. Yes. Yeah. I mean, this is going to be a quick first impressions, and it's not an entire review or something like that. One positive thing, and I wish Yezdi and not the Gold Star, Yezdi slash BSA notice it. Now this test ride motorcycle is almost tank full right now, and this kind of makes me happy. Not because that I want to keep on having joyrides, or I want people to have joyrides, but if you are a customer and you're going to purchase a motorcycle, which is some any motorcycle for that case, you want to have a nice first impression of what that particular motorcycle can and cannot do, or if it is made for you or not. And I have seen, wow, wonderful. I have seen a few brands or dealers, whatever, who are so stingy when it comes to giving out test rides. And I understand that there are people who test ride motorcycles for stupid reasons, but yes. People who seem like genuine customers, I think they at least should get proper test rides, or maybe if they request that I want a proper test ride, then maybe they should definitely get. The fan has started buzzing off. Oh yeah, I can definitely test out the suspension over here. At slow speeds, feels quite nice and poised. I'm not sure. Yeah, I mean, it is not really transferring the jolts to my back or anything of that sort. It is only the sharp bumps which are getting filtered through. But overall, a pretty nice suspension setup for slow speed riding. I still need to check how this thing how this thing corners and all of that. I'm still only testing the suspension, and I really like it. It is a day and night difference between this and the Hunter 350. I have ridden the Hunter for quite a lot of kilometers, and I can definitely say this with my hand raised high that the suspension setup on this is what is with these white Thars anyway. Yeah, so the suspension setup on this is definitely a lot better than the Hunter, especially at the front. The front is very nicely damped, I feel, and for the rear, let me still notice it. I mean, it is still quite a very short test ride. Yes. Yeah, this is something which you cannot really do on the Hunter. I mean, you can obviously, but I don't think so. It would be nearly as much fun doing it. It has a nice gear position indicator. Not that I need it, but just in case for beginners. Yeah, if you're going hard on these sort of bumps, then yes, the rear will kind of throw you. But that is in very specific scenarios, so it's not something which you should worry about. But even in, say, 80 to 90% of scenarios, this is still a much better suspension setup than the Hunter. And no, I'm not getting paid for saying all this. It is better. Somewhere around 2000 RPM. It shudders a bit, but then it picks up. And once it picks up, it kind of goes. The power delivery is quite linear, although it's still peppy. Wow! They have really hit the home run when it comes to the exhaust. I mean, this is definitely quite an entertaining motorcycle. It's sad that Yezdi is not really capturing the market, Yezdi or Jawa, whatever. but yes, I mean, this is a motorcycle which I am starting to feel like it is a deserving candidate. The earlier 42, although it was quite aesthetically blessed and all of that, but it really fell short on the engine department. The suspension too wasn't really anything to write home about. The gearbox, how did I miss it? I mean, it was so fluent during the short duration right now that I almost missed it. But yes, it is a thing of joy. It is very clicky, very sharp, nice and precise. I can do clutchless upshifts or downshift without a hassle, and it will not complain. There is still something that I need to talk about of the handling, which I haven't, because there are no corners here. However, what I can still talk about is the slow speed balance. Being low, the wheelbase being quite well judged, this is not a very difficult motorcycle to manage at slow speeds. Yeah, see, if you can see, I'm below 2000 RPM in third gear. The motorcycle chugs along quite nicely. What is a bit concerning to me, maybe, I mean, this is how a BS6 is going to be really, is that there is some heat which is being felt on the left thigh. So, and this is still pretty cool weather right now. So maybe that is a bit concerning. Not really concerning, but yes, maybe, something which you may notice. And one more thing that I need to point out is the throttle. The throttle feels quite well judged. It is quite light, firstly, and so the clutch, and so is the clutch. It is, I would say, medium heavy. Not a lot heavier. Something like the Hunters, which is heavy. Not that I really mind it, but yes, some people do, especially beginners do. And the throttle as well, the way the throttle is mapped, there are no herky-jerky. The fueling is nice and spot on, really. I don't know if this is a cable operated throttle. Yeah, I have been missing cable operated throttles for quite some time now. They feel very organic. The exhaust, the way it pops and crackles, it is quite emotional. The overrun is just amazing. Oh, why is this stalling issue plaguing Java's Yezdis since quite some time now? I don't really know what is the actual problem. Not that I was in a higher gear than what I should have been. I guess I was in the second or maybe even first. One thing that I forgot to mention is the brakes. Man, the brakes are quite good on this. Bike stops on a dime. Maybe I may as well stop if I am being rude enough with the brakes. See, it stopped on a dime. And that was only one finger braking, by the way. If I would have pulled into with two fingers or maybe even three, it would have stopped harder. What is exactly wrong, man? It has enough fuel, the bike is not crazy hot, and still the bike is stalling. This was an issue. I mean, I don't know if this is an issue with all the BS6 motorcycles. The Scrambler 400 has it, had it rather, and I don't know why, despite the whole Alpha 2 thingy, the bike is still having so much issues when it comes to stalling. This is the second time that it happened during a short duration. One thing that this bike is blessed with is, I would say, neutral handling. Neutral, not as in bad, but neutral as in good. It's not like super sporty, and that's really going with the whole vibe of the motorcycle, that you want a light and easy handler, nice and friendly. You don't feel like you're riding a 300cc big ass motorcycle, which is cumbersome to move in and around the city. Yes, man, the gearbox is really something. They have definitely worked, on the gearbox. It is really nice, very clicky. It may feel as if a bit stiff at first, but yes, once you dial in the kilometers, it will definitely smoothen out ever so slightly, and it will be even better than what it is as of now. I think this is a fairly good motorcycle, for what it offers. If you want something different than the RE's J platform engines, that engine definitely being good on its own is, you may or may not like it. It is a nice slow chugger. I like it for that very much, that characteristic which it has, nice low end torque, good amount of drivability and all of that. But if you want something which is slightly more engaging to ride, a bit more sporty, looks different, maybe is more accommodating for riders who are slightly shorter, and is also does not feel as heavy or maybe as hefty while riding in the city. If you want something like that, then definitely the FJ is, I think, a good candidate in that particular segment. Also, let me mention that if you're someone considering the Hunter, and if you feel that the suspension setup is not that well damped on the Hunter, if it is stiffer, then maybe you can try this, because this is something which offers not slightly, but definitely better suspension comfort as compared to the Hunter. The front feels very much well damped. The rear can probably throw you in certain situations. One thing that I do not like on this is the fact that the gearbox is not spring loaded. So there's no hard stop after the first gear. It is like the old classic 350. Yes, the throttle feels just quite well judged. Yeah, another thing is the throttle response. It is nice, linear. The engine is peppy. It is very refined in this iteration. So that's something which also is a draw. And okay, there is one thing that Yezdi and Jawa and BSA obviously needs to focus on is the after sales. The fact that the quality can be a little off in some places. I have not commented over quality and the overall other things, because this was still a pretty short ride and I had to cover as much I could. The brakes is something that is that should be mentioned because they are quite good. And of course the engine, the pops and crackles, that definitely has me sold. I mean, there are pops and crackles on the Hunter as well, but on this one they are so much more pronounced, and it feels like the engineers have definitely tried to add some emotional touch to the engine, and that's good. Character, you may call it. And overall this is a very likable motorcycle. The only thing that needs to be done now is just having a good sales strategy, having a good after sales service and all of that, so that it kind of creates an overall package and is worth taking a fight to the J Twins. That's me signing off. Bye bye.